this isn't familiar for me. This awareness of needs, of desires.
Desire brings ruin.
Does it, Ashok? You know that without desire, I was dead. Without desire, there's no point in living. And you know what else? I desire to live.
Fire is a 1996 Indian-Canadian film that explores the growing affections between Radha and Sita, two sister-in-laws. When Sita, the young progressive bride of the youngest brother, arrives in the family home as part of an arranged marriage, it begins a journey of awakening for Radha, who for so many years had submitted without question to the expectations of society and her husband.
Isn't it amazing? We are so bound by customs and rituals. Somebody just has to press my button. This button marked tradition. And I start responding like a trained monkey. Do I shock you? Yes. You're lovely. My mother says that a woman without a husband is like boiled rice. Bland, unappetizing, useless. I like plain boiled rice.
Unable to bear children, she has suppressed her own desires as a kind of penance for not being able to fulfill her wifely duty.
But once you have a baby, that will become a full-time job. Child is a gift from God and deserves full-time attention.
Swamiji says the only reason to have a sexual relationship is to have sons that will carry on the family name. Many years ago, Ashok, he took a vow of celibacy. We've lived like a brother and sister for 13 years.
It is clear that this has been a heavy burden for her, and when Sita kisses her, a swift and radical transformation begins within her.
Is that Sita's fault? All these new ideas in your head?
I desire Sita. I desire her warmth, her compassion, her body. I desire to live again.
The release of this film saw conservative backlash and protests, which saw the director Deepa Mehta needing a 24-hour detail for a year after as a result of death threats. Fire is a film that deals with much more than a lesbian story, but of the impact of repressing emotions, submission to traditions at the expense of one's own existence, and how these societal expectations impact not only the women, but the men too.
And as far as saying yes to Sita is concerned, you're forgetting that you and BG made my life bloody hell. It's not easy, bhai, being a yo-yo between what I want and what I'm expected to want.
Thus commenting on how the patriarchy oppresses everyone, not just women, though of course to varying degrees. As a queer viewer, however, what was most striking was the use of Hindu mythology to embrace its sapphic narrative, which no doubt enraged the protesters of the film for being anti-Indian. In Hindu mythology, Sita is the consort to the god Rama. She is kidnapped, and when she is finally returned to him, proves her purity by undergoing an ordeal by fire, for which she comes out unscathed. Now click off if you don't want to be spoiled for the ending of the film. The climax of the film and the final affirmation of the purity of Radha and Sita's love for each other is when Radha undergoes a similar ordeal by fire when, in finally confronting her husband, her sari catches fire and he leaves her there to burn. She survives unscathed and is able to rendezvous with Sita as planned so that they can leave to start their new lives together, thus asserting that their love is as true and valid as that of Sita and god Rama. Or to parallel the beginning of the film, the love that built the Taj Mahal. As you can imagine, for the time it was made, a radical assertion. The film at times feels a little disjointed in its narrative, but the beautiful performances from both Nandita Das and the sublime Sabana Azim carries the film, with Radha straining at the confines of her narrow existence and Sita as the burst of youthful energy that galvanizes her, creating a compelling chemistry that had me coming back to this film periodically through the years. Until next time, lady lovers.